Good morning and welcome to Hope, Faith, and Joy Daily Devotion with me, Pastor Amanda. It is December 31st, the last day of 2020. And tomorrow we're going to take a day off. Not that we have to take a day off from our devotions, but for the new year, we'll start back up again on Monday. And so let's take time now then to look at chapter 40 of Genesis. So as a reminder, Joseph is in prison. And I've got Daniel stuck in my head. I have the lion's den stuck in my head for some reason this morning. But we're at Joseph right now. And he is been living and kind of making his way. And what we find is it says after some time. So we don't really know what amount of time he's been in prison. But he's been there for a little while. And there are some other people that now join him. We have the cupbearer and the baker of the Pharaoh have both been put into prison. And of course, because Joseph's doing his good job, he is put in charge of taking care of these two guys. And what happens is one night, both the cupbearer and the baker both have dreams. And they're like, we don't know what these dreams mean. Like, they're weird and everything. And Joseph says this very interesting thing. In about verse 8, he says, do not interpretations belong to God? Please tell them to me. So he's kind of alluding to the fact that because they don't have this relationship with God, they're not able to understand what they are dreaming. And yet, because he does have a relationship to God, Joseph can't interpret this. Now, this is kind of, we have to be a little careful with this, because if we think back, Joseph was having dreams way back in his youth, and we don't know what his relationship was like at that point in time. But we know that it made his family angry. But there's a sense, though, he was always willing to tell the truth and interpret what was going on. So, we're playing on what's been happening in the past. So he's already a dream interpreter. And so what happens is the cupbearer has this dream in which these 3 grapes grow. He takes the grapes, he squishes them, puts them into the cup, and gives it to the king. And he's like, what does this mean? And Joseph says, in 3 days, because 3 grapes, 3 days, you will come before the Pharaoh and you will be restored to your position of cupbearer. And Joseph says, and when this happens, be sure to remember me to Pharaoh, because I have been put here unjustly. So he kind of recalls his story for the cupbearer. And so then it says that the bread maker saw that the cupbearer's interpretation was favorable. So he's like, well, then I want mine interpreted too. And so he says that he has 3 baskets of bread on his head, and that there are these crows coming and eating the bread at the top, on the top basket. And Joseph says, well, that means in 3 days, your head is going to be put on a pole and the crows are going to pluck out, your eyes and be eating you. So you're going to be executed. And then it says that in 3 days, it was Pharaoh's birthday. And so both the cupbearer and the baker are brought before Pharaoh. And exactly as the dreams were, the cupbearer was restored to his position, and then the bread baker was executed. And this one ends kind of in a sad way. And it says, yet the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. That's how this chapter ends. Yet the chief cupbearer did not remember him, but forgot him. Again, this is one of those chapters in our Bible where we recognize we can do all the right things, we can take care of people, we can do what's best, and it doesn't mean we'll get the reward or the reaction that we think we deserve or should have. And yet, so it's this kind of almost like this big downer. Like, he's gone out of his way to help these people, he's gone above and beyond, and he continues to carry on with integrity and character, and then he's forgotten. But we remember this is part of a bigger story. All of our lives are part of a bigger story. And maybe it's not the time, or there's something else going on in the background. And this, to me, is a time of comfort and hope, that as long as we keep being faithful, as long as we continue to live into our relationship with God, with Jesus and the Holy Spirit, as long as we continue on faithfully, there's a bigger story we're part of. It's all bigger than us. And all the key players and all the pieces and all the situations have to come together just right. And God's trying to be in the middle of all of that. And so as, 2020 comes to an end, we realize that it has been a crazy year. But there has been some good that's come out of it. And I hope that we can look backwards and see what good things came out of it. But we might be ending on a hard note. It might be a rough end, and it doesn't feel the way we want it to. But we have to remember, this is just one chapter of a bigger story. It was 1 year of a longer episode. And so I hope that gives you some hope, faith, and even some joy during this time to know that one chapter is over and now we're beginning a new chapter, and no telling what it can bring. But what our role is to be faithful and continue to be intentional in engaging our relationship with God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. So thanks for joining me, Pastor Amanda, with Hope, Faith, and Joy Daily Devotion. And we'll see you next year on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye.